What's up, guys? It's the Mando here, back with another video. Today, we are back with the I Have Spoken podcast. So, without any further ado, this is my guest,
What's up, guys?
William.
Yep.
William. Will, go ahead and introduce yourself. What's your background with Star Wars like?
Well, I wouldn't say it's like the most normal background.
Well, I mean, like, more specifically, like, what would you consider yourself? A casual fan, a sweaty fan? You know,
I wouldn't go as far as.
Yeah.
I would say I'm a little bit in between. I'm a casual fan, but I would say I know a little bit more. I know more than just the movies.
Yeah.
So I'm not just
yeah.
casual.
Well, that's good.
But I would say like
you're excited for the next Star Wars project.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah. All right.
But my or you said like my background on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can kind of go, I guess, into that. Like, what do you think, or what is your first memory, of Star Wars? Like, when you think back.
All right, well, I'll break it up because there's two things that I usually go back on. Like, there's two. One, I can tell you the first instance. So, my dad said we were gonna watch a movie, right?
Yeah.
And we had these VHS like box set, and it had all three of the original trilogy on it. And we started with New Hope. And then we progressed naturally through all of them. But that was my first. My dad just said, "Hey, let's watch this movie," and we were kind of like, well, "We don't want to watch this. This looks weird." But it's like right when we watched it, I'm like, "Dude, this is legit. Like, this is like pretty good."
Yeah.
And that was kind of my first, because we had like the box set. I remember at the very beginning, my dad fast forwarded through all these, but they were like the last VHS release with the theatrical cuts on them. So like they were advertising, "This is the last release. You better buy these before we make them." It wasn't like that. It's not how they were saying it. But there's like an interview with George Lucas in front of every individual movie, and it's like maybe a 10 or 15-minute interview with them. My dad always fast forwarded through them, so I always just remember I always that because that was the first thing I ever saw Star Wars wasn't the actual Star Wars movie.
George Lucas.
It was George Lucas. I was like, what the heck?
That's a good way to be introduced to Star Wars.
I was like, what the heck is this? I was like, this doesn't look like the box art.
Right.
But he'd fast forward through that, and then we'd start the actual movie, and then you the big opening text crawl, and that's just it's cool.
Well, I mean, that's a really good way to be introduced to the franchise. I mean,
going back, I watched the interviews. They're actually really good.
Well, yeah.
You probably can find it on YouTube.
Well, I mean, obviously, though, like, a lot of people, at least before the sequels came out, I guess Star Wars fans were kind of bored. And, I mean, realistically, the prequels used to get a lot of hate. So, I think that, for you to be able to experience that, just for being of our age, for you to be able to experience the originals first.
I'm going to say it here first. When I was a kid, dude, the prequels were the best crap ever.
Yeah, dude, I love the prequels. I mean, and obviously, I think for a lot of us, at least, in our age group, like I said, the prequels are our first experience with Star Wars.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying. Mine's not necessarily, that's what I was going to say mine. I don't know, there's probably bunch of different people watching this. Some people grew up with the new trilogy. Some people grew up like us, where we were in the early 2000s. So we have.
Well, and that's why we have to be respectful to the people who are growing up with the sequels. And,
right,
I mean, I try not to bash those people too hard. I mean, obviously, like I don't like those movies, but I'm not ever gonna hate. First of all,
that's somebody's
the worst Star Wars film that could ever be produced is still better than every other film on the face of the planet. I don't care what anybody says.
Okay.
Only because it's in that universe.
Right.
And so
I will disagree, but I will learn to agree to disagree.
Well, I'm just saying, like that's how I feel about it.
No,
so even though it's the worst, even though like there are things about it that I absolutely despise, I still love it because it's Star Wars.
Right. You're right. I agree with you.
But yeah, I just feel like like I said, I try not to give them too much hate, only for that reason.
Because the same thing through the prequels, everybody, and then now people are kind of slowly coming around on them. So it's
well, that's what I'll say. I haven't heard anybody say a foul word about the prequels since the sequels came out.
Yeah,
which is kind of hilarious. Like
you can give Attack of the. I was saying it. There was a party I went to. I was talking to somebody, and I was defending Attack of the Clones. And I was like, I liked it better than The Last Jedi personally. And they were saying like, no, there's no way it's better. I was like,
it's definitely better.
It's just my personal.
There's not a world out there where Last Jedi is better than Attack of the Clones. But
and then I had one more, like, other than the movies, we got the Lego Star Wars game on our PS2, and that was.
I didn't even know Lego Star Wars was on PS2.
Oh yeah, dude, that was me and my brother played the crud out of that.
I didn't even know.
Me and him.
Like, I remember it being on PS3. I remember playing it on PS3.
That was so what they did was Lego Star Wars 1 and 2 came out on PS2, But then for like the next gen consoles, they released like the complete Saga set, so it had both those in one game.
Yeah.
But we had the individual releases when they came out, and like Battlefront 2, or not Battlefront 2, Battlefront and Battlefront 2.
I played Battlefront. I actually remember playing Battlefront 2 at a very young age. That was one of my favorite, like lore heavy.
Well,
I say lore
like,
heavy.
The 501st, that's a really interesting story.
Yeah, that story arc was great.
Yeah,
I felt like, and it added a lot to it.
I liked it.
It definitely affected me as a kid. I mean, I definitely enjoyed, because you really get to see kind of the rise and fall of the Republic.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome. Like, you get to see, like, from the clone troopers' perspective of being in the 501st, them executing Order 66, and then following up into becoming stormtroopers, which I thought was awesome. Yeah.
I like there's a mode called Heroes versus Villains. I don't know if you that was an instant classic for me.
Yeah. I enjoyed Star Wars Battlefront. And I'm not, I don't know, like, I like the new version as well. I just don't feel like
it's different. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to be able to make I don't think it's ever going to be quite the same as what people want it. Because people want basically the originals, but new. But I don't think you can ever really capture what's already... That's different. It's a different console.
Well, I would have wanted more... I don't know if you ever played the PSP games. They actually had two of them.
Yeah, I played a little bit of one of them. It's whichever one has the Rebel Trooper on the front of the cover.
Renegade Squadron.
Okay, I played very little of that.
They have Elite Squadron as well, I think, or at least if my memory serves me correct. But I really enjoyed those way more than I enjoyed probably even Battlefront 2, because it had like different weird stories that were actually really cool to follow.
When I first got my PS3, they needed to do a better job of this, but you could buy PSP games on the PS3 store. So I saw that game, and I was like, oh, this is on PS3? So I bought it, and I was like, wait a second. I was like, I can't play this because I don't have a PSP. So I was like, what the heck? I was so excited to play those, though, when I saw those.
Yeah, dude, they were really good.
But like I was saying, it's just not the same. Like, back then, games were, it's a different audience now. Like, whether or not...
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely...
It's just different.
And I think that the audience now is geared a lot more towards the first-person shooter.
Right. I will say they fixed maybe Battlefront 2 has come, the newer one, that's come a long way than when it
was. Oh, yeah. Battlefront 1 was hyped up to be one of the best games out there.
It has good sound.
The new one.
Yeah.
But it just never really held up. Another thing that kind of bothered me was... we didn't see a lot of the maps from Battlefront 1 integrated into Battlefront 2. And for the amount of time it took between those two games, I felt like why not just port over the maps.
Right.
But
I think it got the better support in the long run, from the developers, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, until now. I mean, now they're not even supporting the game at all, which is really kind of annoying. I don't know.
I meant to ask, is Rogue Squadron just single player, or is there a multiplayer aspect of it?
As far as I know, it was multiplayer, but
I was wondering if they were ever...
It had a single player campaign, but I remember I don't know. I was pretty young when I played those games. And obviously
I'm talking about the new one.
Rogue Squadron was.
Was it just a single player experience then? Like the new...
Oh, I thought you're talking about... Sorry. I thought you said Renegade Squadron, so that's my bad. Renegade Squadron was a PSP game, so that's what I was thinking of. You're talking about Star Wars Squadron.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Rogue Squadron.
So, yes, it is multiplayer.
Okay, that might have been why they shifted focus, maybe. I was just trying to figure out.
I mean, yeah, and it's alright, but the thing is, once again, people are looking for that first-person shooter,
That's fair.
Perspective, and I don't know,
well, like the original,
nothing beats hopping in and on Kashyyyk or something and playing as a clone. That was awesome for me. So to see that they're not supporting it anymore, which don't get me wrong, it's a finished game and it still has the servers and everything.
Right,
but
but
it's just
no new content basically.
And that's my point is, like I said, you don't see a whole lot of new maps or anything, and I mean, maps are constantly being added. Let's not forget that The Mandalorian is out right now.
Oh yeah, there's always area. I'm sure there's stuff from the prequels and the original trilogy that probably hasn't gotten.
Well, I mean, like I said, even just from The Mandalorian, you could be adding maps right now.
Let me ask you this.
From Mando.
I haven't played all the maps in Battlefront 2, at least not the recent ones. Have they added Jabba's Palace? Is that even?
They did.
Okay, I was about to say, it's like, if they didn't add that.
Yeah, it looks good. Not as good as the original.
When you could, like, I remember just going up to Jabba and then falling in the...
Yeah. That was always fun.
Yeah, I'd always just go down there.
But yeah, it's definitely not that, which is kind of annoying.
Uh-huh.
But I guess we go ahead and move on. So what's your favorite project with like Star Wars? So this can be a video game, this could be a book, this could be a movie. It could be Legends,
right.
It could be canon.
I will say, like, other than the movies, which I think most people would probably pick, I think I don't know. It's not the best. It's not by any means the best stuff that's been made. But I would say my fondest memories. There was a release on DVD. They released a couple episodes of the Droids television cartoon series from the 80s, I guess.
Yeah.
It would have been the 80s. But it's not the best Star Wars content out there, but I really enjoyed it. And plus, one of the characters' names in that is Kylo Ren. So, somebody was watching it up there. Because that sounds a lot like Kylo Ren.
Right,
right. It's not, like I said, don't expect it to be gold. It's not. Don't expect it to be the next best stuff. I just like it because it's just something I had fond memory. It's like the same thing with the Ewok movies. I don't know if you've ever seen
them. Have you rewatched it like recently?
No, I know they suck. I'm not going to rewatch them.
Then how's it your favorite?
Dude, as a kid, I remember them being good as a kid. I know that they're not going to be good, so that's why I haven't watched them again. It's like I don't want to ruin that.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Because I remember there's a scene where Wicket sits on the fire and like burns himself. Dude, I was like, my cousin thought I was dying. I was laughing so hard, dude. It's just like slapstick humor. But dude, I was about to like freaking die laughing as a kid.
Hilarious.
I don't want to watch it again. I know I won't experience
that. Was the most like Will answer. I know you guys don't know Will like that, but that was literally the most Will answer that we ever could have gotten.
Like, I don't want to. It's just, I know that they won't meet my expectations. Because as a kid, everything was good. There was no such thing as a bad movie as a kid.
Right.
But like now, I know that they won't meet my expectations. Or like at least my prior what I think of them. They're not gonna meet what I think of them. So
right.
I don't want to rewatch. I want to rewatch them at some point, but I just know it's just not going to be the same. But I will say that it might not be the best by any means, but it is one of my fonder memories of Star Wars. So it's just a project I like. I wouldn't mind some more goofier stuff from Star Wars, some more cheesy.
I mean, what was this holiday special that we just watched?
Lego? Okay, I mean, Lego stuff though. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess
Lego stuff's always. I know what to expect with Lego stuff. I just want to be surprised, like watch something and think it's gonna be serious. There's always.
There's always funny moments in Star Wars. I mean, you gotta look for them a little bit, but I mean, realistically, there's funny moments in Star Wars.
Yeah, I know.
You
I'm
just
not
gotta
saying
look
it's
for them.
not.
But yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying.
I guess I wish it wasn't always the stakes were so high on some of those stuff. Like it was more. Sorry, I'm blinking a lot. By the way, my contacts.
You're all good.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you have like a runner-up, like a more serious?
Okay, more serious. As much crap as Solo gets, I like Solo, and I would not be opposed to seeing more. Because I think there was supposed to be a trilogy, but then they canceled it because of how bad it did.
Well, and so it's really sad. The whole story with Solo kind of bugged me. So like, I guess we can touch on that for a minute. I talked to somebody not that long ago at a comic book shop who basically said that he refuses to watch Solo only because the fact that it came out after Last Jedi. And refuses to watch any other theatrical released movies by Disney only because of the way he felt about Last Jedi. And which I'm going to go into a little. He had another reason as well. But which that reason alone bugs the absolute crap out of me, only because it's like, that was a great movie.
I mean, yeah, look at all. So like, if you can say it with any franchise. Look at like the Rocky series. If you watched 5 was definitely hands down the worst Rocky movie. But after 5, you got Rocky Balboa and Creed 2, some of the better movies in the series.
Yeah.
So you can't let one. I mean, I can understand if there's like one after the other, and like.
Well, at least they tried to fix it with 9, but I mean, yeah.
But I went in with low expectations on Solo. You know, just cautious. I went cautious. I didn't. You know, I was excited, but I wasn't like. I was like, if it's bad, I'm not going to be disappointed, I guess. I'm not getting so excited that I'm going to be mad. And I liked it. Yeah, it wasn't the best Star Wars movie, but if there was a sequel, I would see a sequel. I would go and watch another one.
This is my thing, right? So like, and one of the reasons he explained was he didn't like the Wookiee life debt. The way the way that they portrayed that in the movie,
Right.
he didn't feel like it did them justice. You know,
That's fair.
he didn't feel like there were any real stakes between Chewbacca, you know, like actually dying or anything like that. And I think that that's a fair, you know, assumption. But for not even watching the movie,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Can't
Like obviously you
criticize.
just heard that, but I mean realistically, that movie was great. Like
It was definitely better. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the 9, and I enjoyed it more than I don't want to say I enjoyed it, because as much as I don't really care for The Last Jedi, there is stuff in it that I really do like. And with Solo, there was stuff in it that, okay, I know that you don't like the Luke Skywalker. I didn't like that either, but like the Yoda stuff,
Well,
I just like seeing Yoda.
I mean, there's a little more to it, but I mean,
right.
I can get into that.
It
at
looks,
a different
I
time,
can say that it looks good. Like the visuals.
What?
Oh, Last Jedi. Like it looks.
Well, all those movies look good.
Right.
I think
It's visual.
The cinematography in the sequels is unrivaled anywhere in the franchise, and I mean, I'm willing to go to bat on that anywhere. But I mean, arguably it being, you know, the year it was when it was made, 2017, you know, on, it's like you kind of expect that from.
And I think Force Awakens was kind of like this big, because it was a big deal at the time, and I think everybody was just wanting something more, and it was like it had basically like just endless expectation, like, you know, and when you put so much expectation on something, it's not guaranteed to.
Yeah,
deliver.
I mean,
And I think that's where
I
it
think
left a
that's
bad
why.
taste in my mouth, because I was excited and I was like, because like it was.
Well, I like 7. I'm not gonna lie, like 7 is.
Force Awakens.
Yeah.
That's solid.
I think that one's arguably the best movie in the franchise, or not the
No,
franchise.
that's like, whoa, there,
yeah,
bro.
I corrected
Like,
myself.
am I on the right
the
podcast?
best movie, the best movie in the sequels. You know,
Right.
But-
No, I agree on that.
but yeah, I just I don't know, but Solo, right? Like the thing that I think bugs me is that so many people wrote this movie off and didn't even give it a chance.
Yeah, no,
Only because of Last Jedi.
Yeah,
And I think you still have a lot of spiteful fans out there who are not going to open up their hearts to view this movie. But I will say this, it's literally fighting. It's fighting so hard already. You know, the point that I'm trying to make is like it's gotta fight angry fans over Last Jedi.
Not recasting.
It's gotta fight not having Han Solo in it.
Well, the Han Solo.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Hey, as
yeah,
far as I'm
you're
concerned,
not wrong.
as far
I'm
as
saying
concerned, he did solid.
it's got to fight not having Harrison Ford in it.
Right. No. Yeah. It had a lot of things. It was an uphill battle.
Well, and yeah, and so I think that. Well, and another thing I think is I'm pretty sure, which maybe you know, I think it released around the same time as
it was.
a Marvel
It was
movie.
in May. It was around because I remember because senior year of my high school, and I remember Deadpool 2 was big, and that was on the brink. It was all spaced out, but it was only maybe a couple weeks apart. So
Yeah.
I know you had Solo, you had Deadpool 2, and you had Infinity War that year. And
Yeah.
It can't compete. I'm sorry, but like Star Wars, at least in my personal, I like Marvel movies.
Well, I think that it would have been able to compete
had it been
under
Christmas.
Well, under it being the regular cast, under it being not after Last Jedi, like I said, it's already fighting two things. Now you're adding that on.
I think if they would have stuck with because Rogue One released around December, I believe, of 2016, somewhere in there, right? It was.
Yeah, I
it was
want
a
to say it was
holiday.
December.
I feel like if they would have stuck with a holiday release for Solo, it might have gotten more people. And plus, it was poorly marketed, in my opinion. Like, I don't remember really having much marketing for it.
I saw a little bit, but yeah, you're probably right.
It wasn't
not as much as the sequels were marketed at all, but
the only press it was really getting was people being mad about it.
Yeah, I mean realistically, but once again,
but bad press.
It's bad press because of The Last Jedi. I think The Last Jedi.
But you're always gonna have the people. The casting, they were not gonna win. There's people that you're just not gonna win with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. People who legit only see Han Solo as Harrison Ford, it becomes very difficult. And you know, I'm not so sure about the casting either. I mean, I don't think he looks bad as Solo, and I definitely understand it as a young Han Solo, but it's not as perfectly cast as, like, say, a Sebastian Stan for Luke Skywalker or something like
See,
that. Like I don't know.
I heard
if
you
you've
mention
seen,
that on one
yeah.
day. I was trying to visualize it in my head. I'm like, I can't see it.
Dude, have you seen the picture?
Of like, is there like a fan made?
Dude, yeah, look it up right now. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I didn't know if I
seriously.
wanted to pull my phone out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sebastian Stan and then Luke Skywalker, dude. I'm telling you, like
I need to get quiet. I need to get my glasses next time.
yeah, his face is so perfect in that, like.
I just can't. I can't visualize it in my head. I have to see it. Okay. People, they're like, okay, so is this what you're talking about right here?
Yeah, dude.
That does look actually.
Are you telling me that's like literally the perfect fan casting ever, dude?
That
like
it looks
you
like
cannot get more exact than that. That dude is a carbon copy of Mark Hamill. Like seriously.
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing him play. Maybe mocap, like because.
Well, and that's what I was thinking.
Episode 9 had some really good young Luke footage.
Yeah, so but I was thinking more like you might be able to use a little bit of CG for whatever.
Oh yeah, there's a way to make that look good.
Yeah,
I can see it. I see it now.
His face is so similar that like I think it would be it'd be perfect.
I see it.
And I feel like when you see like there's got to be something for Han Solo. Like I guess that's the closest that they could get. I mean,
no, I agree. I was like, is there not somebody that maybe looks just a little bit? Yeah, well, you see those pictures of people all the time. Yeah, but you see the pictures of people that look almost exactly like actors, but then they're not. As like, there's got to be somebody out there that heck, even maybe a grandkid of Harrison Ford. There's got to be somebody that at least looks like him.
But I think you would have had trouble with the voice. I think you would have had trouble with
acting. Because like you gotta get an actor.
Yeah, well, and I mean, obviously Harrison Ford's like old now, so like trying to get his voice to sound like what he did in his 30s when he did it, like
the guy got. I mean, Harrison Ford. He said good things about the actor, so he got Harrison Ford's blessing.
Well, yeah,
I think that's good. I think that's
I'm not arguing about it. Like, honestly, I thought it was a good movie, I just, like I said, I think it was definitely a fight uphill for a lot of.
I got my gripes. I will say one thing: the Kessel Run could have been a little bit cooler.
That's what a lot of people said. That was
I feel like it was a little bit just put in there, more of a fan servicey thing. It didn't feel like a big plot point. If that makes sense.
I mean, it was cool.
It was a plot point, but it feels like it was kind of just they could half baked maybe. It's not because like you get that the scene that sticks out to me isn't that scene, which you would want to think in a solo, like if you're taking Han Solo and you're making a solo movie about him, the scene that should stand out the most should be that scene. But the scene I always think of is spoilers if you haven't seen it.
Dude,
but the Darth Maul scene.
Well, yeah.
That's why I remember that more. I mean, that's the coolest. It was like, come on now, like
yeah. People were pumped to see that, and they got Ray Park to act him, and they got Sam Witwer to voice him. Which, by the way, Sam Witwer's like the voice of Darth Maul at this point. Anybody who tries to tell me anything different.
Post-credit scenes are good, but I feel like it shouldn't outshine the Kessel Run.
I was more upset, that we didn't get a sequel to that. I
would have totally been on
Well,
board.
and so apparently it's not out of the question. From what I hear, they're talking about they could do a TV show.
I'm okay with a TV show. I'll take an animated.
Animated. Yeah, I don't even care.
Anything.
Yeah, at this point, let me see more of the Shadow Collective.
You can make him look more like Harrison Ford in an animated TV show.
I just want to see more of the Shadow Collective. I don't even care anymore. Like, legit, Han Solo doesn't even have to be in it. Just let me see the Shadow Collective. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, which I know that you kind of see, like, the Mandalorian portion of the Shadow Collective basically go for broke in Season 7 of the Clone Wars. But, I mean, realistically, I just want to see, more of the Shadow Collective.
Yeah, I agree.
More of them all.
But I think overall, Solo, not as bad as everybody says. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Don't diss it till you've tried it.
Oh, I definitely agree. So I guess the next thing that we can kind of spin into is what are you looking forward to most, out of Star Wars? And this can be a project that is already confirmed to be coming out, or something that you want to see happen.
Okay, I just thought of something the Mandalorian's a good example, but I want more bounty hunter stuff, if that makes sense. Like the Mandalorian's good.
What bounty hunters specifically do you want to see?
Come on now, Jango Fett. I want more.
Jango?
Yeah.
Over Boba?
Okay, wait. Let me think about that. That's a good point because Boba hasn't really showed up.
I mean, Jango, I don't know. They had like an old game about it.
That's what I'm saying. I like that game. I had it because I got it on my PS4. I haven't beat it, so I don't know if it gets better.
I don't know. I think Boba's the more interesting of the two.
Yeah.
I would like to see a Boba, like show, and yeah, I would like to see a Boba show. I think that'd be cool. From what I hear, it's actually rumored already.
Yeah,
so
I'm on board for that.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Like I said, bounty hunter stuff in general, I just like that thought. I like the idea. Like how when the Mandalorian opens, he's hunting that one dude.
Well, I think it could be cool. Yeah, it could be cool to do like a guild style TV show where it just follows people in the bounty hunters guild. Because there's a lot of
it's different.
Well, there's a lot of interesting bounty hunters out there. You got like Bosk, dude. I love Bosk. Bosk is super
there's
cool.
other than
IG-88,
other than the lore stuff, like there's no mainline stuff other than like books.
We get to see a little bit in the Clone Wars. That's really
fair.
cool. And seeing young Boba Fett in the Clone Wars was also really.
I heard that's one of the better. I haven't watched all the Clone Wars. Sorry, people.
Yeah.
But I heard that's a very interesting arc.
Dude, yeah, like it definitely adds a lot to his character, and you get to kind of see him struggle his way into becoming a bounty hunter.
I'm working on watching the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I was allowed to be on this show without prior knowledge.
I've told him several times to watch the Clone Wars, so he's watching more of it, but we're getting there.
Other than the Clone Wars, I'm pretty sure I've watched the majority of everything else. Well, no, I haven't watched Rebels.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched. What's that one that you really recommended? It looks more like, I guess for backup, it looks more like anime-ish. It's a.
You talking about Resistance?
Yes. Is that an anime?
It's
different
2D.
Okay.
Which I don't know. I like.
I haven't watched. It looked more anime-ish. It might not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like a lot of people, it bothers them the animation style.
No, I don't care about.
And, like
I don't really I watched as a kid. I watched Sonic X. That was like I don't.
Well, and it is more of like a kid geared TV show, but it's not badly written at all. I mean, realistically,
Droids is a kid show.
Yeah, I mean, but my thing is like I still enjoyed watching it. I mean, and I'm not really a huge fan of the sequels, obviously, but I still enjoyed watching it. So. And I'm pretty sure they're in like season 3 now, and it's still running? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still running.
I haven't looked into that yet.
Yeah, but yeah, I think as far as a bounty hunter TV show, that could be pretty cool. I mean, I'm looking forward to Kenobi right now. Like I think that would be.
I know what we need. This is for you physical media people out there. We need Blu-ray releases of the Clone Wars from the 2000s, like the one, like it was by the people that did Samurai Jack. So it was kind of that same animation.
No, I agree.
We need some more.
Well, I think they should put that on Disney Plus.
I
don't see why they.
I just want new releases.
I don't know if like Lucasfilm somehow like in their contract still owns that or what.
But as far as I know,
I think it'd be cool if Disney like.
It was a Cartoon Network thing, I believe. So it might have something to do with that. We need that. And just release everything. Come on now, let's get the Ewok movies on Blu-ray. Let's get all Droids and Ewoks hasn't even been all the way released, like the cartoon, not the movie. The Ewoks cartoon.
Yeah, no.
They haven't released all the episodes. There's no way unless you get bootlegs, like some people I know myself that have done that. There's no way to get them. So release that stuff.
Which in kind of a preface, he's a huge collector of anything memorabilia as far as
I like physical media.
Yeah,
I have too many movies.
He enjoys movies, and he's also got like collectibles and stuff. So we're gonna be going over his collection.
Most of my Star Wars stuff is not really. See, that's why I want to start going. We should just start doing swap meet stuff because we could do like pickup videos.
Yeah,
because they have some. I always see. I don't know what it is. I always see episode 1 stuff. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But whenever I'm out, it's always episode 1 stuff.
Which and
but most of my collection is movie based.
Yeah. So. And that's what I'm saying is, so how did you get into collecting, by the way? Let's get into that a little bit.
Movies? Like the movies?
Well, let's go with movies, and then let's go more into memorabilia and stuff, too. I mean, I know you have, like, some Funkos, and, some different kind of stuff, like...
I'm slowly, that's why I gave you, I gave him a bunch of my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get, until I get my own place, my room is small, so I'm trying to get out of the collectibles game and just be more into the movies.
Right.
But I would definitely say what started all of it was, there's this thing called Steelbooks, and I don't remember which one it was, but they just looked... Whenever I was at Best Buy, I was like, it was a movie that I already had, but I saw it, and I was like, this just looks so cool.
Yeah.
It's metal. I was like, they started having more of them. What movie was it that I got? I'll have to, I can't recall. I have so many Steelbooks now. But like, I like the artwork on them. So and then I figured out there's box sets of movies, so I started getting.
How old are you at this point?
I was probably in my teens, probably 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I like box sets of movies. I guess the bragging rights. Somebody has it's like Cole. Cole could care less if it's Blu-ray, DVD.
One of our best friends.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Cole's not going to notice. So Cole can have like the DVD copy of Venom, and I'm over here, he's at my house doing homework, I'm over here like, dude, check this out. I found this at Vintage Stock. It's the Amazon Prime like Venom set that you could only, I found it at Vintage Stock for like $10. I was like, Cole, check this out. He's like, dude, where'd you get that? I was like, oh, I have my secrets.
So it's more of a clout game. You're kind of just in it for the clout at this point.
Pretty much. I just like collecting stuff. I'm starting to get into retro games. I just like old stuff.
Yeah.
I like new stuff.
Well, I mean, simpler time, for sure.
But yeah, it's just, I guess it is kind of a flex thing.
That's cool though. I mean, hey, whatever. If you like to do it and it keeps.
I wasn't the most popular guy, but I had the most movies.
Well, yeah. I mean, Cool. All right, so next we're gonna go over who's your favorite character in the Star Wars franchise.
Okay, that was a tough one.
Like I said, that's Legends. Like I said, this is the whole universe.
I remember you asked Cameron, and I'm pretty sure Darth Maul was his. Or
Darth Maul was
relatable.
His. Yeah.
Okay, so this is hard because I was like, man, I do not know, because like I was like, there's so many characters I like, but I don't know who I can relate to. Like, there's so, you know what I mean? There's not one particular character I can think of.
Oh, it's hard. I mean, you've got so many characters. And the job of every story that is told in Star Wars is to sell you on this being your favorite character, your new, hero, the best in the universe. People watched the originals and they see Luke Skywalker be the best hero you've ever seen in your entire life, and then they're turned on their head when the prequels come out and you meet Anakin.
Yeah.
So.
All right, this is unpopular probably. But when me and my brother were growing up, we'd play like the Lego Star Wars games, and we would always, basically how it would go is I'd be, if we were playing Lego Batman, I'm Batman, he's Batman. But when we play Lego Star Wars, I'd always be Anakin and he'd be Obi-Wan, because he was always more of an Obi-Wan fan. Mm-hmm. And I like Anakin. I don't know what it is about Anakin. I just like Anakin. And he would give Hayden Christensen a lot of like stuff, and you've already given the viewers.
I don't like it. I really don't like the hate that he gets for it.
I like him, and like when I don't know how some people could like recast him and want. Whenever I think of Anakin, that's the only person I can see. Dude, but then you got people that go back and want to like try and figure out other people that'd be better Anakins. I'm like, wow, just enjoy who we got.
No, I agree. I thought he was great.
Yeah, I like, and I just...
Well, and I think Cameron had even pointed out in the last thing, if you want to get mad at anything, you can get mad at the plot, you can get mad at the...
Right, the script.
The script, yeah. So, but, which, even then, I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed all of it.
A lot of people like him now, because of the...
Yeah.
He's better than Kylo Ren, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Actually,
no, Anakin's character is better than Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that's what I was more... not maybe the...
But
the acting maybe not, but then there's parts where
I don't know. There's that Kylo Ren is the only character that came out of the sequels with anything that I even hold remotely towards liking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Once this video, so right now the videos haven't quite taken off yet, but once they do, people in the comments, why don't we let them wage this war?
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll just sit back.
Post
and
your favorite.
Yeah,
I'll make a video of who ends up better. But
we could do. There's these people. There's this podcast. Sorry for this plug of this podcast. I think you watched The Weekly Planet, right? Or
it's called The Weekly.
I was just making sure I got it right before because it's not the Daily Planet. But they always do this thing where like they would have like a football field. They would say, okay, so this basically they put characters against each other. It's like RoboCop versus some like whoever, the Terminator, and they basically say that the battlefield is just a normal standard American football field. And they basically just say who would win, and like they would basically talk about the pros and cons of each person. So we could, you could do that with like Kylo and Anakin, who would be the best, like just based off of pure. If they dropped in there with just their lightsabers and
Anakin wins.
Okay, see, it's just you just drop them in there with what they'd have on them. So if they just have pure skill, So I'll say is.
I mean, it's like not even. Anakin was literally the most powerful. What's up, guys? Mando. Sorry for that short interruption. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we're back. No big deal, and the show goes on.
Okay.
So we were talking about before the break who would win in a battle, Kylo Ren or
Anakin.
Anakin, yes. And I said Anakin would absolutely destroy Kylo Ren because once again, he is literally the most powerful being in the Force that we have ever seen, ever. And the only reason
Except for
why...
Jar Jar. No, I'm just kidding, sorry. Okay. Sorry, people, that's a joke everybody makes those jokes.
Oh my god. But the only reason why he wasn't as powerful once he became Vader was because of his suit. The cybernetics the Emperor actually put into his suit were meant to make him subservient to the Emperor.
So there's like
hindrances. Well, yeah, no, it's like actually weak to electricity. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
like some comic book stuff and like.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, like the way they said that the cybernetics actually of his time, had they have done them right, would have been an extension of him, would have made him more powerful. But another thing is like he couldn't produce electricity because of his suit. So like,
there's a Revenge of the Sith video game that was on PS2, and you can kill. So there's an alternate ending where when it's Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting on Mustafar. There's an alternate. That's the right planet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to make anybody upset.
Yeah.
There's the alternate ending where you can kill Obi-Wan as Anakin, and he ends up killing the Emperor and becoming like basically the most powerful person. So like it's like cool to see that if he would have won that would have been way different.
Yeah, there's actually a few theories on that. I think Star Wars Theory did one.
That's just a cool. You know what? I want to backtrack. So when you were saying like projects, Marvel has this thing called What If, where like they take. I'd love if they made like a Star Wars kind of like sort of like where it's like what if Anakin killed the Emperor? Like you just like not stuff that's canon, just spin like just stuff that's like rabbit hole. Like what if this happened instead of this?
Yeah. Well, I mean they do it a lot in the Marvel comics.
Right.
I haven't seen it done in live action.
Well, like,
which I'm gonna be honest. Like I really don't want to see that.
I
come to live action.
No,
I
think what they should do is
they had comics of it. Yes, absolutely.
Right. And they're also what Marvel's doing right now is for Disney Plus. They're making a TV show, and they're gonna have the voice. It's like all the actors that I think it's gonna be Chadwick Boseman's last actual performance, if I'm not mistaken, because he's voicing Black Panther in it.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that. I think it is his last performance. I'm excited to watch that because it's gonna be what if Black Panther was Star Lord. I think is what it's gonna be. So like I don't know how they're gonna do it. But anyway, it's gonna be animated, so it's gonna be the actors, but it'll be animated. I think I think that could work for Star Wars, where it's like an animated 2D.
Yeah, I think they could maybe do that. I mean,
no repercussions on anything because it's just what if stuff, and if done right, it could be good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like I think I've seen the Deadpool version of that, like in the comic books,
probably
where like Deadpool kills the entire Marvel universe. Definitely read that. Really cool.
It's just like scenarios that aren't necessarily canon. They're not. It's just supposed to be like a one-off. It's not meant to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
I
think that'd be kind of neat.
I think that'd be cool. I guess. Back to what we were talking about.
Sorry, I didn't mean to backtrack.
It's cool. We get off. I mean, that's the whole point of it.
Right.
Get off subject. Keep going. So you said your favorite character was Anakin.
Yeah.
Right. So, what about Anakin? Like allures you? Like what? When you look at Anakin, what makes him your favorite character? What sets him aside from everyone else?
I mean, I think it's like, I just think it's his arc. It's like no matter how bad you become, there's always that good that's still in you.
Well, yeah.
And I think that
I think that that's a symbol for everyone's life.
Right.
I mean, realistically, which I consider when I think Anakin, I consider Anakin and Vader to be one person, and I kind of hybridize them, which I know a lot of people will separate Vader and Anakin, and I mean, to each their own.
Right.
But my thing is, like, you see this person who has legit went through, probably the worst life ever,
right,
and still is striving to do good, and still wants to be a Jedi, and actually does become one of the greatest Jedi to live up until that point.
Right, like you guys talked about the Mace Windu thing, where he was kind of shunning Anakin and not really wanting.
Well,
The odds were stacked against him on a lot of things.
Well, yeah, and he still did well.
Right.
And make no mistake, it's his own heart that makes him the way he is, and that's the sad part. Like, you would never hear this story, but Anakin cared too much, and it's sad because it's like, he loved Padme so much that he was willing to go down this rabbit hole, and just got lost in it, you know, and
Right.
and that's the thing that I think is really a big takeaway is so then he turns into, you know, this evil being, and I mean you get to see, you know, the comic books really portray it well, but these flashes of
There's
like
glimpses
pain and glimpses of, you know, seeing him turn into these little, you know, like the inner battle within his head of, you know, what have I done? I can't live with myself, to, you know, coming back. And obviously, you know, the light side wins at the end of his life. And I think that it's a huge redemption story. It's a huge arc that
And
I think is done perfectly.
And that's one of my biggest complaints about the sequels is as much as I like Force Awakens, and there's some good stuff in the other ones, but it kind of negates that whole arc in a sense. Because, like, it was supposed to be, this is the end of the story kind of thing, really, like, theoretically.
Well,
Because Anakin, he brought balance, basically, with his sacrifice.
well, yeah, and
And it was supposed to be that. And then you have everything come back, and then you have Palpatine come back. It's not that I don't like it, and it's not that I don't think that there's good things that could come from that, like good material. It's just kind of like it feels like it negates the other sacrifices a little bit.
I think that they could have made these movies and it would have worked.
But no, there's definitely a way to go about it.
Well, make no mistake, right? Like, as long as there are fans that love this franchise, that galaxy is alive.
Oh, yeah.
So, realistically, yes, you brought balance, but obviously there's an after, there's a before. So,
right. It's not going to be as book-ended as people probably
yeah, and I mean, you know, with a following this large, you're never gonna get that book ending.
Well, it's
you know
like
what
30 years from now, how many people are gonna look back at the original trilogy as the best? You know what I mean? Because like, it's like, let's take Star Trek. I guess it's not really, I guess not the best example, but people like the original crew, but then there's people that like the Next Generation crew, and it's like it just depends on. Because I mean, if Star Wars goes on for as long as I mean, it's been what probably about, it's getting close to 50 years because. 1970 would have been 50 years ago. So it's not there yet, but it'll be close to 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, there's gonna be more stories that come out of, you know what I'm saying? It's not always gonna be set in the Clone Wars and the original trilogy stuff. And at some point, I'm kind of curious I wonder, is it ever gonna become where people, there's a separate faction that looks at a different setting of it, that more fondly than the original? I don't know. That's a question for like the future.
Well, I think people already do that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people right now who don't respect the sequels as anything. They literally
the originals or the sequels?
I said the sequels.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying is that, like, you know, they respect the originals so much that they're just like, I don't care about the sequels. They're not canon. Anything that you tell me about that is not real.
Right. I'm gonna use I'm not gonna use Cole as an example for this. I wanted to, but no. I just like if you grew up with the sequels, what's stopping somebody from just looking back at the originals and being like, this is like old looking, I don't like this. You know what I mean?
No, that's what people are doing right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what a lot of people right now, when they go to see A New Hope,
they're let down. Or it's
just like, what is this?
Right.
Why does this look so bad? And the thing is, like,
that's why I'm thankful I watched the original trilogy before I watched any of the prequel stuff. Cause like back in the day, Episode 1's not the best looking, but back then it looked pretty convincing.
Well, to a kid, first of all, to a kid, all of it looks.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, Jar Jar looks. And then you watch it now, like, oh my gosh, it looks horrible.
Well, I mean, a good example is, right, I saw Episode 4 when I was a kid, and I was like, dude, like, this is like one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I went back and watched Episode 4, actually right after Rogue One came out. And, which, by the way, like, really cool thing, kind of a side note, the end of Rogue One that ties into Episode 4 was like the coolest thing.
There's a YouTube edit where you
dude, it's cool. Literally so freaking cool. Like, I loved that.
I would recommend
but when you see that, and you see the level of quality off of Rogue One, and then you watch Episode 4, A New Hope, it's like, whoa, is that even the same shit? Because it's the same scene. It's done the exact same way.
Hey,
but
you're gonna demonetized for that.
Well, all I'm saying is, like, what?
You just dropped the...
What?
The S-bomb. That was all good. I don't...
Beep. He said ship.
Oh, did you say ship?
I'm pretty sure
You did say ships. Sorry. Okay, ship, as in.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. We're not monetized yet, so no matter.
I said ship.
They don't care.
Whatever. Anyway, when you see that, it was really cool. I really enjoyed it, and I'll say this: the quality that goes forward, I think, is going to always continue to amaze people because Star Wars is at the front of technology for its time every single time.
Well, even the original was like way ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look at other movies that are being produced in 70. You know, like, they're not even near that kind of quality. You would never even see something like that.
I will say that, so 4K, Jaws is amazing. Like, if you've watched Jaws on 4K. But the only reason Jaws it looks good because it was shot on film.
But once again, okay, this is a natural environment.
Practical effects like
you know what I'm saying? This is something that, you can do in a natural environment, in the water, but like...
Space stuff.
Like you would never see it.
What's all that hand painted stuff looks, and now it's not hand. Now it's mostly CG.
Yeah.
And it looks good.
Well, CG's the best that you can get. I mean,
I guess it's more of a respect. Like me personally, I respect the older stuff. I like. Don't get me wrong. The newer stuff looks better, but there's that certain like respect, like the puppeting, like Yoda, the puppet. You can respect that looks even. Though it's a puppet.
Well, you have to factor in when it came out.
Right, no,
I think, and I think that's what people fail to realize or fail to do.
Right, they look at it as a move. They don't look at it as a piece. Like, I look at old movies more as like a historical, like, this is what they had, this is what they were working with. But then you've got people that don't really see it in that light, and when they watch Star Wars, they're thinking each Star Wars is going to look exactly
and I felt like that's why the prequels were so good. That was Lucas... basically saying, "Oh no, I can keep up with the times. Like it's not an issue of that,
Right.
But I guess we can go ahead and move on to one of our final questions. What has Star Wars done for you? Like as a person.
Right.
What is it? How has it affected your life?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that there's a certain character arc or anything that's like affected my life, but I will say that it probably has made my it brought my family. Not that my family's not close, but it brought us together. It's like a common, it brings people together kind of thing. Because my dad showed us it and stuff, and we watched it with him when me and my brother were kids. And me and my brother got the toy lightsabers, and we'd fight with them and stuff, and we'd hit each other with them, and be all mad and stuff at each other. And it was like we'd play the Lego games together. It was mostly like Battlefront 2. We played Heroes versus Villains all the time together. It was more of like a bonding thing, I guess would be what I took away from it. And Cameron had a really good thing with what he said, like what it meant with the whole like the story, like the themes of like the movies, I see that, and like I'm not gonna try and tread on what's already been said, but like as far as me personally, I would say it's mostly like the bringing together, because it gives me something to talk about my brother. Like me and my brother can converse about stuff because he watched the Clone Wars, he watched more of it than I watched, so it's something we can talk about.
Yeah.
So, and it's just kind of like that mutual thing we have in common kind of thing. It's just like a family. Cause like every year every year that there's been a Star Wars movie, other than like me and my dad and my brother saw episode 3 in the theater. Mm-hmm. But like the newer movies each year, other than Solo, we go with my grandpa and my whole dad's side of the family goes to the theater and watches them as a family. So it's like a family thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of just like a family bonding thing. That's how I look at it. That's how I like to remember it. Star Wars is like, it's for everybody, I guess.
Well, and I definitely agree. It's definitely a family movie, and it definitely, has something for everybody. So I definitely, I like that answer, and
it's like Christmas. It brings us all together for.
Well, yeah, I mean for sure. I remember seeing The Force Awakens with my family.
That was because everybody was wanting. Dude, my grandpa, he didn't have the Star. So the next year when Last Jedi came out, he had his Kylo Ren. He was rocking his Kylo Ren shirt and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, Grandpa, you're on the hype train, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's cool though, and that's what I'm saying is it's one for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. It's great. I really enjoyed all of it. Seeing any of it with my family. The only thing that I don't like and that I feel like I can't get my family to do is watch Rebels or the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
that is the hardest thing to get older people to watch animated shows is like so difficult. But I'm telling you, and which by the way, we're about to give him some homework. So whenever you are done watching the Clone Wars, Rebels and the latest season of The Mandalorian, we're gonna have you back on. We're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
So
That's a lot of that. So
well,
there'd be probably next year.
Well, and I told him that the point of that is that once you
Everything
finish the
clicks.
Clone Wars, once you finish Rebels, once you finish Mandalorian, all of it all comes
Yeah,
together.
I'm excited
and
for
makes
that.
it
I'm
great.
excited for that episode 3 cut you were talking about. Where they cut the Clone Wars episode 3 together.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
if you don't know what he's talking about, basically, there's a guy. I'm trying to remember what his name is. Madman's Knowledge. That's his name on YouTube. So if you go look him up or on Twitter, he made a cut. He cut the last season of the Clone Wars, season 7, into Revenge of the Sith, and it goes in and out of both of those, and it's done beautifully. Obviously there are those episodes in the movie are interchangeable, and if you sync them up on certain timelines, it's perfect. So, and he actually is still working on it.
So he's perfecting.
Yeah, he's like very, very,
That's
going
really,
in
that's
depth
cool
on
that
it.
you can because that came out. What was that? That was that? It wasn't quite a year ago when.
What, season 7?
Yeah, it was getting. I guess it's not getting super close, but.
Well, I thought it was like May or something.
Yeah, it was May. I think it was because May the 4th. I think it was around.
Yeah, I think it was around May.
So it's not quite a year, but yeah. So the fact that he's still finding stuff to work on it is kind of impressive.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. I definitely thought it was really cool. But so that's when we're gonna see Will again, which he might come back.
Oh, I got to
talk
pick
him
up
again.
the collectible video.
We're gonna do that later.
I know. I was just trying to.
Well, yeah, I mean we're
I
gonna
was
see.
trying to plug that.
Oh.
Sorry. I was spoiling stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna see Will a little bit later as well. He'll be back, for certain things, and I definitely want him to keep coming back. So, but it's been fun. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. You got anything else?
I have a question for you.
What's up?
Are you ever gonna have Cole on the show? I'm just gonna
Maybe if he finishes Rebels.
Well, audience, you're in for a treat with Cole on this.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Maybe if he finishes Rebels,
Okay.
because we actually did finish I think the Clone Wars, but we didn't finish watching Rebels. So I kind of had him over, and I was kind of walking him through,
if we ever
all the
get
episodes.
if we ever get to where there's a crew of us, I guess Cole will be the fan favorite. I'm calling it right now. Cole's gonna be the fan favorite of the cast.
I guess
I'm gonna say that the cast right now is probably you, me, Cameron, and Cole. Or well, not Cole yet, but if Cole ever was to join, I'm calling it Cole is gonna be the fan favorite. I'm just calling it. My money is on Cole. I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Like I said, he's got to buckle down and finish watching Rebels.
I got a lot of stuff I gotta watch.
I mean,
oh, you're talking about Cole?
well, yeah,
Cole's
I mean,
ahead
you
of
do
me.
too.
Yeah,
That's the only thing. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too obsessed with it. But yeah, it's not that hard. If you have a dedication to
I
it,
know.
you will stay up until midnight watching
I
the
know.
show, and not even
I'm
understand.
still, dude. I was in the middle of the Halloween franchise. Whatever you're. I'm sorry. I've been watching more of the Halloween stuff. Than
This
I've watched
dude will literally rewatch
No, I haven't seen any of
tons and tons
bro,
of movies
I haven't
over.
seen all the Halloween movies yet.
Dude, I'm not even talking about all the Halloween movies. How many times have you watched RoboCop? How many times?
I haven't seen RoboCop.
Yeah,
actually,
whatever,
sorry.
dude.
No, I haven't. I've never seen RoboCop. I haven't seen any of the RoboCops. I just used it as a there's stuff I still gotta watch. I know. Have you
Either
seen
way,
RoboCop?
yes.
Oh, okay, never mind. I can't.
Either way,
Sorry.
I know you're rewatching movies. Don't start with me, because I swear every time I talk to this dude, he's always got something. But
Okay.
that's besides the point. He's got homework to do. We will get back to you. Yeah, if you haven't seen Rebels or the Clone Wars, you are doing yourself a huge misfavor. So you definitely need to
You mean
do
disservice?
that. Disservice. Yeah, that's what I meant.
PC people.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, that's going to be the end for us. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I have spoken. This is the way. See you later. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. This has been the Merry Mando. Enjoy the rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.